Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it's episode 15 as Donkey Kong Country, the TV series. We are almost through season 1, so we're getting there, and this is Klump's Lumps, written by Nadine van der Velde. We begin seeing Dixie looking for her pet lobster. This is this episode, this one. I kind of like this episode. I thought it was quite fun.
Yeah, it is good, yeah.
She hears some rustling in the bushes, but it's just Diddy. DK then appears, and it seems as though they were helping her look for this pet lobster. Because this is a thing, suddenly, the lobster.
Yep.
DK figures the lobster is gone, and Diddy makes a joke about her not eating it, which upsets Dixie, causing her to walk away when it's suggested that she should just get a new pet. You're not wrong, you know, it's like, okay, there's a fucking lobster. But she's like, oh my god, I want this one.
It could be like a version of a cat or a dog.
It's a fucking lobster. Presumably she pulled it out of the sea. From what this episode suggests is that it would suggest that Dixie has a bit of an obsession with just random pets.
Yes.
Because it does get a little weird. As at K. Rool's lair, the lizard is frustrated about the lack of crystal coconut. Shocked! And is reaching breaking point. Klump has a plan though, one that involves an exploding barrel that he ends up detonating in the lair. Because they're idiots.
Of course.
That's what they do. But that is it for K. Rool, who goes on a rant, degeneralising him, exiling him, and declaring that the name of Klump will never be spoken again. Mm-hmm. It's fucking harsh, bro.
It was harsh. Yeah.
It was a really harsh rant. It's like, okay, all right. And obviously Klump is rightfully devastated, falling to the ground. And when he stands up, I thought this was really horrible. All the minions have turned their backs to him.
It was harsh, man.
It's like, whoa, incredible. As he starts to walk out, he passes Crusher, who kind of sort of looking at him, but K. Rool gives an order, and like the Hulk and Brute kind of has to turn his back to Klump.
Harsh, man.
It's like, oh,
I know, it's
poor
harsh.
Klump. So Klump obviously leaves the lair dejected. Later, we see him crying in the jungle as Dixie comes along. He sees her and tells her not to spy on him as she tries to ask him what's wrong. He initially obviously brushes her off, but eventually breaks down and tells her in song form. A piano ballad called I Haven't Got a Friend in the World. Klump's voice is not a nice voice to listen to. No. It's not the worst, but it's also not the best. Of course, you see this coming. Dixie, feeling sorry for him, says that she will be his friend. We then cut to Cranky's place where Dixie has brought Klump and she's treating him like a new pet. And this is what gets a little bit weird because she really is like, patting him and stuff like that. And she's asking the other apes if she can keep him. Of course, they're suspicious and question his motivation. However, he swears he's not a villain anymore and will protect the crystal coconut with his life. Cranky agrees to let him stay as Klump falls from the treehouse. This becomes a running joke in the episode, is that Klump can't get used to being up high, being as a lizard.
Yep.
I don't mind that. However, Klump will have to stay with one of the apes, and of course it's decided that it's DK. And I did think this would be a cool idea, like them having to live together and having different opposite views.
Funny,
yeah, it's a shame they don't really do that.
No.
Don't really bother with that at all. In K. Rool's lair, the king has promoted Crusher, proving once and for all that he is an idiot. Because, you know, it's like, okay, Klump's gone, and apparently Klump's so terrible, I'm going to promote you, who has proven to be just an idiot,
pretty
as
much
an
the
idiot as
exact
well.
same person.
Yeah. Although his goal of having someone who blindly obeys him seems to have succeeded. So maybe that's kind of what he wants, is someone just who's subservient. Look, I always thought Klump was as well.
It pretty much was,
Yeah.
He was just an idiot.
Yeah. It's early morning at Cranky's, and the sound of Klump's horn causes the apes to panic, believing they're under attack. It seems as though Klump's military training is not something he can just shake off. So he's constantly, like, you know, military man. Up early, blowing his horn, marching around, that kind of thing. Dixie defends him and DK sticks up for her, but Cranky and Diddy aren't happy. Meanwhile, K. Rool and Crusher are in a minecart as K. Rool is trying to train the lizard, and obviously it goes as badly as you could expect.
Of course.
At Cranky's hut, DK and Diddy find Klump trying to improve the traps for Cranky, but then he accidentally activates one and launches the old ape in the air. You kind of see the story of this one going where it's kind of like he's going to have to prove himself. They're going to end up exiling him or sending him away because they think he's a villain or they think he's too annoying, but he'll prove that he was a good guy. You've seen this story play out in a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, he'll keep making mistakes. They'll probably say, John, go away.
Yep.
And then they'll be dejected again. And
Yeah. At K. Rool's lair, he and Crusher having a brainstorming session, and it's going badly, obviously. Crusher's ideas are not good, and K. Rool is mad when he realises Crusher isn't even focusing his ideas on actually getting the coconut. Aren't you the king? You fucking do it. He wonders aloud where Klump is, and Crusher reports that he's living with the apes. Something that K. Rool finds hilarious until he realises that he can use it to his advantage. So this made sense. It's like, okay, he's going to be like, all right, now I can, if he's already living with them, they've accepted him, if I can get word to him, maybe I can bring him back round. Klump is attempting to fix DK's lift and speaking to Dixie. He's struggling to adapt to the living arrangement, but seems happy and thinks he's winning over the apes bit by bit. DK then comes along, but his lift goes out of control, slamming him over and over again. Did laugh at that.
Yeah, it was funny.
Plus, DK deserves it sometimes.
Yep.
Afterwards, he, Diddy and Cranky talk about Klump, and DK is still trying to see the best in him, but the others say, look, he just doesn't belong. DK says, all right, he'll tell Klump in the morning, but Klump overhears this and walks away sadly. This is a story, weirdly, although I don't want it, would benefit from being longer.
Yes.
So that we can kind of see how much struggle Klump has adapting.
Yeah.
You kind of do this in a 2 to 3 minutes long, and then they more just say something's wrong rather than actually show us something's wrong.
I think they could have done something like something, even like a potential jealousy ploy too, you know, between Klump and Dixie, and DK getting jealous.
Okay.
They're getting a bit closer, so he's getting a bit jealous, possibly something like that. But,
yeah, but he doesn't really have a relationship. I mean, DK's relationship with Dixie is questionable.
Yeah,
Maybe they could have brought Candy in for that instead.
Yeah.
Not have Candy in the pet role, but having Candy sort of see Klump getting along and then starting to become friends and aspects like that. Yeah. Anyway, Klump is stopped en route out by Dixie, and tells her he doesn't belong, so he's leaving. He tells her that it's his decision, something DK and Diddy hear, and she leaves upset. Klump then makes his way to the jungle, where he's confronted by K. Rool and Crusher. K. Rool mocks him for being an ape, which I thought was funny, and Klump begs him to let him come back. K. Rool agrees and reinstates him, but orders him to use Dixie to get the coconut. That's something Klump isn't happy about, but he does agree to serve K. Rool. So I like this kind of difficult issue here, where he's like, oh, she was nice to me, kind to me, but to get back in with K. Rool, I'm going to have to use her to get to the coconut.
yes.
We then cut to Dixie, alone in the jungle, as she sings the second song for this episode, a melodramatic song called Is There Someone?
I don't know, this song's terrible too.
It's not good for songs this episode. Klump then appears and tells Dixie that K. Rool is planning to blow up the barrel factory. She doesn't believe him, but he insists that she's his friend and he won't betray her. She thanks him and goes off to warn DK. Klump then finishes the song that she was singing, revealing that he's telling a lie. The story told her being used as a distraction so we can get in and get the coconut with DK out of the way. This is unnecessary.
Yes.
All he had to do was go back and pretend that he wasn't leaving with Dixie. And then he'd stay there and just get the coconut at any point.
I just don't think. I mean, there was no need for a coconut story in this episode.
No, that's true. We just could have.
It could have been avoided completely, and it could have done something even better. Like
just have the story,
K. Rool is jealous.
Wants to capture Dixie instead and use her as a hostage.
Or he's jealous of his friendship with the apes, and
maybe
he wants them back. You know, could be anything like that.
But we've always got to come back to the coconut.
Yeah.
99% of the time, it always surrounds the coconut. Cranky, DK, and Diddy are at the factory making a plan to deal with an exploding barrel that's been left outside. We've seen these things blow up before. They hardly cause that much of a problem.
No.
Meanwhile, Klump has sneaked into Cranky's and is about to take the coconut when Dixie confronts him. Klump tries to play it off as not being what it looks like, and she's furious and she shouts at him, but he insists that it's not his goal. She's just not listening to him here. But then I can't blame her either. It kind of does seem like, he's stealing it.
It looks like
yeah. We then cut back to see the barrel bomb at the factory is actually a dud. And DK then hears Dixie screaming. Cut back to Klump, who is encouraging her to scream to get DK's attention. It works. Klump runs out to K. Rool as DK and Diddy arrive and activate the traps, getting rid of all the lizards. After they reflect and suspect Klump set them up from the start, and we see that Dixie is sad. So it's one of those where Klump's heroic actions, if it were, will never be known.
Yes, yeah.
Later, she's in the jungle and comes across a case that houses her lost pet lobster. And alongside it is a note from Klump, and she realises that it was never about the coconut. And she also learned a lesson here about separation, as we hear Klump quietly crying in a bush nearby. That's a good message.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just kind of have to let things go. I like that. I do. that's something this show doesn't do enough of. Do an important message.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
I think overall this was a very powerful episode, but no need for the coconut scenes.
yeah.
But I think I actually quite enjoyed this one.
It would have been an interesting episode to have spread over a longer period of time. Maybe, like I said, not necessarily a longer episode, but maybe like a two-part. Where we kind of go a bit more in depth. As you say, we really didn't get to experience Klump and DK living together, and I really think you could have done a funny thing there.
Arguing about certain
like living differently, Klump waking up early, disturbing DK, the food issue, all these things they could have done. They could have made it a little bit more amusing in that aspect, you know?
I said they could have used the whole jealousy thing with K. Rule.
Yeah,
he wants them back.
Yeah.
He wants to stay there. He's got friends. They're not friends anymore, and then he's trying to win them back and stuff like that. You know, just loads of things.
Loads of things in this one, but it's a memorable enough episode, really. I think as well.
Yeah, definitely.
That's Klump's Lumps. You got any thoughts on this one? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?